Welcome to Everyday Nothing, a podcast about nothing in particular, from culture to science to lifestyle. Everything goes. Welcome back to another episode of Everyday Nothing.
Hi everyone.
A quick reminder that we are available in a number of platforms. You can subscribe to us via RSS, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Stitcher, Pandora, Google Podcasts, YouTube Music, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Castbox, SiriusXM, and more.
Woohoo.
We've also, you might notice, made some improvements to our audio recording setup, so you'll be listening to a much better recorded podcast.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about today?
I think we will talk about travel.
Travel.
Yeah.
Is it because of all the ads we've been watching for holidays?
Summer is approaching, so yeah.
So it's still winter.
I want to believe.
Well, summer's eternally approaching then. Well, you've got, we've been watching advertisements for cruises and cheap flights.
Yeah.
Everything about travel. What is it about travel that makes it such a great thing?
For me, I think it changes the status quo. If you feel like, you need some change and...
Okay, so you break from the rigmarole of every day.
Yeah. The status quo changes and you're pushed to be out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
And I think it's really great for some of us who struggle with psychological flexibility.
What is psychological flexibility?
So it's like, some sort of fixedness or, mentally we feel stuck sometimes.
Okay.
Or,
so that's
stuck with a
different from-
routine.
Okay.
Yeah, routine, despite having great many benefits, it can sometimes feel like an autopilot or a mechanical, mundane stuff of
Right.
every day. So
So that's
a little
different
bit.
from people who like predictability. That's not what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. That's similar.
Okay.
Yeah, people who like certainty, predictability, and structure,
Okay.
they struggle with psychological flexibility. So when you change things up in everyday life, and you maybe leave home for a couple of days, or not necessarily leave home, maybe explore your hometown, just visit a different restaurant than you did for a
Okay.
long time.
You would consider traveling.
Yeah,
That's nice.
actually, yes.
Interesting. I wouldn't have. For me, it has to be leaving the place. I mean, leaving the city. But that's interesting. It's an interesting thought.
It was a recent discovery for me when I was forced to move from my hometown.
Oh.
And I realized I became a tourist in my own hometown. I wanted to see more things. I wanted to explore.
I think when it comes to traveling, one of the things that we can all identify probably is novelty.
Yes.
Something new is kind of what drives it. A new place, even if it's a new bed, forget a new city, new places to see. Potentially, if you travel far enough, new people to meet. It's new.
Yes. And it also helps you understand new meaning of what we call foreign. When you actually get in touch with people from different place, different city, different country, it feels like they are people and you're the only foreign there. It's not, it becomes, the meaning of foreign evolves into something else.
When you go to a foreign land, you're the foreigner.
Yes, that's what I meant. You put it really well, yeah. You're the only foreign thing in that place.
Yeah.
Yeah, they belong.
And foreign is such a relative term that it reminds me. Yeah. That's an interesting thought. Um, what kind of places do you like to travel to? Do you have like a genre of places that you like to go?
I don't like hustling, bustling cities.
True, I'm with you on that.
Anything other than that is okay for me. So I
I don't
don't
like
really.
those places to live or to travel to. All
Yes.
right.
So I'm okay with mountains, beaches. I'm okay with
Desert,
rivers,
deserts,
desert. Yes, no problem. There's deserts either. So yeah.
Sahara Desert. It reminds me of the film The Mummy. Anyway, yeah, I love traveling to mountains as well. It reminds me of the relative unimportance of things in life.
Wow, that's too philosophical. My God.
Yeah,
Yep.
having all those mountains surrounded by these things that are really towering over you
Mm-hmm.
and reminding you that you are small.
Yep.
You matter, but also in the grand scheme of things, things don't matter. I think that's the thing about traveling. It gives you a new perspective, and not just literally. I mean, in your thinking,
True.
it forces you to, or coaxes you to change your perspective.
Yeah. A thought occurred
Mm-hmm.
to me now. If traveling was our job or duty, do you think we would have enjoyed it as much?
I think we would have enjoyed the things about traveling that deep down we really appreciate.
Like,
Like the things that we just talked about, the
okay.
novelty, the forced or coaxed change of perspective, meeting new people, again, novelty.
Right.
But the thing that you probably start to notice is that it's tiresome.
It is. Yeah.
So, and the reason why you're so open to getting all these new experiences is because you're not constantly traveling.
Hmm.
You do it
Exactly.
once in a while, so you're prepared physically, mentally to exert yourself if necessary.
That's exactly my question. If someone were to live out of a suitcase as their job, like a travel agent or somebody who has to keep moving from country to country, city to city, attending conferences where it becomes their routine, will they enjoy travel as
Yeah.
much as us who want to break free from everyday
I don't think so,
life?
but there's an asterisk here. If you have been given enough time to kick back and relax
Mm-hmm.
every time you travel, then I think that's the greatest thing.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go from place to place for things, for work, but after every time you travel, you're
Hmm.
allowed to take a few days off.
Hmm.
That would really strike a balance
Yep.
between giving your mind and body some rest so that you can travel in the romantic sense of traveling,
Hmm. Hmm.
but also you do your work and whatnot. It
Hmm.
pays you to travel, I suppose. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's sort of a utopian lifestyle. But I think the other thing is also worth noting if you have to just keep traveling and you don't have time to kick back,
Mm-hmm.
like you have to live in a van or something, I think it'll be great initially.
Yeah.
But I don't know a lot of people who would have the capacity, the
Mm-hmm.
stamina, both
Mm-hmm.
mental and physical,
Hmm.
to keep doing it. I'm sure there are some, but
Yeah.
most of us, I don't think so.
Yes. I was just thinking from where we left off, the previous question. Can we be travelers in our own hometowns? Can we?
That's an interesting question. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, I was just recollecting the last time I visited my hometown and how I saw things differently and things that I would take for granted in my own hometown, where
Okay,
there
so
would
that's what
be
you meant earlier when you said you're a tourist
in my own
in your own
hometown.
hometown. Okay.
Yeah. Like it's a historical place, and many tourists would flood to the place, the city. But since we lived there, we thought those things were normal. But once I had left my hometown, I had lived elsewhere for a decade, and when I went back, I could appreciate
Mm-hmm.
those monuments and simple, I don't know, very, very. Mm, normal things like alleys, what we call gullies, and um, yeah, I eating eateries. I really enjoyed.
Yeah. I think, it's a combination of A, the grass being greener on the other side, and B, desensitizing yourself to things. So
My God,
when you're
why are you dissecting it so
well, I mean, you asked the
much?
question. Think about it. When you're living in your hometown, you tend to get desensitized to a lot of these things. You don't notice things anymore.
Yeah,
In a way,
I
you take
think
them for granted.
desensitize is a very strong word. I think maybe, like I said, we take things for granted, or we think that maybe next day it's right here, maybe next week I'll go, or sort of
Or you never even think of going because it's right here.
right
Yes.
here. It's
Yeah.
not really a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of something that I think we talked about this, you and I, a long time back. In photography as well, we have this exact observation. When you're new to a place,
Mm-hmm.
you tend to notice things.
Yeah.
You notice things that the people of that place don't notice.
Mm-hmm.
You see the place in a way that the people of that place don't see it.
Hmm.
But you live there
Hmm.
for even a month,
Hmm.
3 months, you no longer see the things that way. It becomes normal to you,
Yes.
it becomes commonplace to you.
Yes. Since you brought up photography,
Hmm.
I wanted to ask if you enjoy traveling, or being in a different place. If you're taking photographs of the place, do you enjoy it fully, or does it restrict you because you have to make pictures and you can't really be there fully, or does it facilitate being fully there? Photography, I mean.
I think you can't make good photographs if you're not there fully.
Mm-hmm.
So the priority for a photographer, I would think, is to be there, is to
Hmm.
experience the place first, because only then
Right.
can you translate that emotion into a photograph.
Right.
Otherwise,
Okay.
you're making snapshots of things.
Hmm. So the context and the culture and the vibe.
Yes. You have to be
Yeah.
one with that place in
Yes.
order to portray it
Wow.
in a way that you feel it.
Because sometimes I feel like when I'm watching something through the window of a train that I'm traveling in, and I take out my phone and start recording it through the window, I feel like I'm not seeing it with my bare eyes. I'm seeing it through this screen. Oh my God, I'm missing out.
Yeah, I completely understand that. I think at that point you need to ask yourself why you want to make that picture. Because
Hmm.
I think if it's for memory,
Yep.
then it can quickly become a case of some sort of compulsion. Or I lose this, I lose out on that other thing. I need to make a picture. I need to. Well, then, yes, you're not
Hmm.
actually living through any of those things.
Right.
But when you make a photograph as a work of art,
Mm-hmm.
then that place necessarily has to come first. You have to soak that place in really well, and then the photograph will come naturally. So it isn't
Right.
coming in the way, it's
Hmm.
part of the process.
Wow. Yeah. That
At least
makes
that's my
sense.
view.
That
I'm sure
makes
people have, yeah.
sense. Because I struggle with being present and making pictures at the same time.
Hmm.
Because I feel like I am liking the idea of looking at this video at some time in future
Right,
and reminiscing this while not living the moment. Like,
right.
it's like I am so maybe swayed by making the memory where,
Yeah.
I'm not being
But have you
present.
ever observed that maybe those memories, when you look at them 3 months from now, they don't actually have that same feeling. They don't
Feel to
evoke the
it.
same emotion.
Exactly. Exactly.
Exactly. That's. I mean, the way I look at it, it's because the emotion that you had in the first place, or allowed yourself to have in the first place, was not what prompted you to make the photograph,
Yep.
and therefore the photograph doesn't have that.
And sometimes I don't even look back at those pictures, like, until it's
Mm.
really late. It's just there, hoarded in a folder. So yeah, I
Yeah, we do
think
hold a lot of photographs these days, don't
yeah,
we?
my God.
Is this because we can?
Please do that workshop on decluttering.
We are thinking of a workshop on digital decluttering. We don't have any of the specifics yet, so we're not going to discuss it, but hopefully
I think you're
we will
the
have an announcement soon.
organized um, digital user in our family, if I can say so.
The thing is, I think it was sort of kickstarted by Google, who, for their photos service, offered people unlimited storage.
Hmm.
And so people used it.
Hmm.
And it just became a habit. Well, make a picture
Yeah.
because, well, it's unlimited anyway. You can throw it in there and forget about it.
Yep.
And then you have image search.
Yep.
So you don't even have to organize it anymore.
Yep.
You look for gray colored dog and then you have all pictures of your pet. It's like that. But it kind
I
of
think
has
we've
spoiled us.
digressed enough from traveling to photography. You should
But
name
that's the
this.
beauty. That's the beauty of
You
traveling,
should
isn't
name
it?
this.
We are traveling through things.
Yep.
What should we name this?
Travel and photography or something of that sort. I don't know.
So let's come back to traveling then.
Yep.
Okay, mountains. Why beaches? We're done with mountains, but why beaches? What is it you like about beaches?
Beach.
Yeah,
I think
beaches.
I like the vastness of the sea more than the beach. I
So
don't
not the
think
sand.
it's not
It's
the
what's
sand for
beyond
me.
the sand.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really like the sand part of it because it gets stuck in my footwear and my pants. And for the beaches that I have visited, I don't think it was that clean or well maintained. But yeah, there were good beaches too. Yeah, in India, I've seen good beaches.
Yeah, they're pretty good ones.
But I'm the fan of the sea,
Right.
the ocean, the
So
sea.
you're
Yeah.
saying you would rather go on a cruise than go to the beach?
Okay, I like looking at the sea, not being in the sea. So I like standing on the sand just so I can look at the sea.
Okay, funny question then. What if there's like a mountain or a cliff that's overlooking a beach and then the sea? Would you rather be on the beach looking at the sea or on a cliff
Yes.
looking at the sea?
Yes, I would love that. That's like the ideal arrangement. But when I was watching Broadchurch, I realized that place exists somewhere in the
Dorset,
UK.
south of the
Yes,
United Kingdom.
yes. There's a
But
cliff
there are
looking
lots
over
of
the sea.
there are lots of those here in the UK, aren't there? The chalk cliffs everywhere, I think. Well, I mean not everywhere, but there are a lot. Yeah. So you
I would
like
love to.
that?
Yes, yes.
That's interesting. This episode was not sponsored by anybody on the team that made Broadchurch, but it's a wonderful show.
Great show. Yeah,
Yep.
I really liked it.
What about planes?
Um, I haven't traveled a lot on planes, but from my limited experience, I think I enjoy it for an hour or two. After that, it becomes restricting.
Right. So the cruising is nothing. It's the takeoff and the landing.
Yes.
You know, it's funny you say that. Just I don't mean to digress, but every time I play Flight Simulator, I really like the process of taking off and the process of landing. The cruising is boring.
It is, isn't it? So I was just thinking, my God, the sky is also dark. Pilot might be bored of this.
I mean, they don't actually look at the sky when they're flying, so I think we're all right there. No, but I like it. I really enjoy it. But in a 10-hour flight, there's only so much you can look at the
Yeah.
clouds, I suppose. So, but it's not because of a lack of beauty or anything. I definitely appreciate that.
Just to bring in another lens to travel.
Go on.
Traveling is privilege. At
Yes.
least, comfortable travel is luxury. And, it is not something everybody can afford to do. Not because they don't have money, some of them don't. And some of them don't have time because they are busy making the money or they can't take leave from the job.
Yeah, that is a sad position to be in, I think. But yeah, traveling in general is some sort of a luxury.
It is.
But, supposing you were to go really frugal, you might not be able to go far,
Mm-hmm.
Of course, depends on where you come from. But you can still go somewhere close by,
Mm.
keep the whole experience frugal, and the beauty of traveling
Mm.
wouldn't change. And I think that's another thing worth thinking
To
about.
be able to enjoy travel also is privilege. I think that's why I
How so?
mentioned comfort. Maybe, like you said, they can pick a place close by and be fully present
Yes.
in that and enjoy it. But if they desire to visit somewhere and not being able to go there,
Ah, yes.
it
We
can
all
be
have
quite
that.
heartbreaking. Yeah, yeah.
To anyone listening, if you want to travel, you will do it one day.
um, I've enjoyed most of my travels with you.
Oh, likewise. I have as well. It is a funny thing. I read this a long, long time ago
Uh-huh.
before I met you. Um, and it says, don't get married to somebody with whom you can't travel well.
We did quite a bit of traveling before we got married, didn't we?
Yes.
We did a lot of travel.
Mm-hmm.
Close by? No.
No,
Yeah,
it was
long
a
distance
few hours
too.
at least, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. We would have covered the length of the UK. Yeah.
Yes, because it tells a lot about the person because you have to do a lot of adjustments. That's why I spoke about psychological flexibility
Mm-hmm.
and the breaking of that structure and routine. It takes you out of what is familiar. So you're challenged and you in a way that you might not expect sometimes. It could be about not having hot water in the right time, or not being comfortable with your seat, or the hotel room was not up to your standards. Sometimes it tells about a person's ability to maintain that calmness and their threshold of tolerating the distress that comes with all that, and how they manage to have fun with whatever is there. Use their humor and make sense of whatever is happening and go with the flow. I think it does help that
Yeah.
way.
I think when you're on the road, you are sort of forced to let go of your guard, of all that
Yes.
thing that you've put up that you normally do. And I think everybody does
Yep.
this. You are a person in
Hmm.
public. You are also a person with everybody you know. But then when you're
Yes.
traveling in close quarters with this other person or group of people, you have to let go. And that's why you can't really travel long and far with people you don't know or are open to getting to know.
Yeah, that's where the
And it gets
safety comes
really
in.
sour
Yes.
if it doesn't go well. And yes,
Yes.
safety.
Yeah.
It's something that you have to, at some point in every travel, place your safety in somebody else's hands. And
Yes.
that's just a matter of trust that,
Yes, it builds trust,
yeah,
and you can't really travel with someone with whom you don't feel safe.
true.
So that also works out when you're trying to figure out if both of you are good fit.
Mm?
I think it was also how you handle each other's maybe discomfort or sickness during travel. I think something that I noticed how you would manage my motion sickness, when how
Oh,
you would
yes.
hold
Yes.
space for that, how you would maybe
It's getting
move
better
things
now.
around. Yes, yeah,
Mm,
with a lot of
a
travel.
lot of travel.
Yes.
There's one mode of travel we haven't talked about. This was road. We
Hmm.
talked about flying, cruises for some reason, trains.
Train!
And I like this because as a kid, I was obsessed with model railroad.
Mm-hmm.
I had this huge model railroad that was 2 rooms across,
Yep.
electric powered, and you could lay out the tracks however you want. And I loved trains. I still do. What do you
Trains
think of
are
trains?
trains are very nostalgic and somewhat comfortable for me. I think it's good in a way because of accessibility to toilets and food
Oh,
and
really?
yeah.
That's what you can just park the car and I don't. I'm never mind. Go on.
Trains, I like it because you sort of have homely feeling for some reason. It feels like a small home that is moving, if that makes sense. A room that is moving. It doesn't feel like it's small or you don't. I don't know.
Sort of
I'm
your own
sound.
compartment.
Yeah.
Unless you're forced to share it with someone who's really nasty.
Yes. Yeah, I've had those experiences also where someone was really loud or someone who would snore all night or someone brought some food that would stink in the carriage. But otherwise, I really like Indian train travel.
Oh,
If you can get either first class or AC, that level again. I know it's
bit of a
really
luxury.
bad. Yes, luxury. I know it's really bad with general travel because I have traveled in general too. There are people sitting near the toilet and they're holding onto the railing of the door. It's fully jam packed in
Yeah.
general.
For those of our listeners who don't understand or know train travel in India, quick primer. First class, you usually have two levels of bunks. Second class, you might have three. And then
Yeah.
the regular class, you have three, but without an air conditioner.
Yes.
And then you've got an unreserved class where anyone can come in. And that means if there's seat space for 4 people, 6 could come in, or 8 or 10. And then you've got chair cars where you'd have a
Yeah.
chair and then one person can sit while 10 others will hover around you. That's the gist of it.
I really like the early morning tea. I don't like the tea. I like
Now the tea's gone downhill.
idea.
Yeah.
Yes, it's just brown water, nothing much.
That's what I've heard.
But I like the idea of drinking something warm while you're sitting in a moving house, looking
Moving
at
house.
looking at the sceneries and early morning, the freshness. So I really like that. And there's something very nostalgic about trains.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
for
I
overnight
traveled.
travel, it's pretty comfortable.
Yes,
Probably the most
you can
comfortable
lie
of the lot.
down. Yep.
Unless maybe you've got like a first class in a plane or something. Maybe it's a little less, a little better than a train. Maybe. But otherwise, for the most part, trains are really, really comfortable.
I really enjoyed trains in Scotland. I loved
Yes.
it. I liked the comfort of the chair, the systems on their, I don't know, their WCs. Yeah.
And the view outside your window.
Yes. The view, of course.
The islands.
Yes.
Pretty sight.
Yep.
So that's traveling. We've done a lot, and we would love to do even more.
Yep. Yes.
Maybe one of these days we can record an episode of our podcast while we're traveling.
That would be great. Great idea. I think I haven't fully seen India. I want to travel all over.
I don't think you
India.
can fully see most countries like that. At some point, you have to say, okay,
Exactly.
maybe I'll go to another one.
No, I was actually thinking about it from a different angle. You cannot really check off a place
You can't.
because there will be something that you haven't seen about that place. You always
Well, not
just
even
see
something. I mean, there'll be a lot.
a lot of things. Yeah. But even if your hometown you've seen everything, you might feel like you've visited each and every nook and corner of the city, there will be still that one pub, that one restaurant, that one corner, that one garden that you have not
True.
visited.
And also, because places are like people, they keep growing. So by the time you're done, or you think you're done,
Will you marry me?
the place has changed.
Yes.
We will schedule that question for our next episode.
I
Anything
love
else
it.
for this one?
I think traveling is something that helps you grow. Yeah.
Travel and grow. It's like Pinocchio's nose. Lie and grow.
Ah,
All right then. We'll meet our avid listeners in the next episode.
that was my invention.
That was
Avid
her invention.
listeners.
Yes. Avid readers for our book club.
That was also my invention.
Did you just invent the word avid?
Yes.
Right. Hmm.
I made this.